Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just want to thank everyone again, like I always do, for tuning in. I'm just so grateful and thankful, and I'm just gonna dive right into today's topic. I wanted to talk about I know I touched on my jobs that I had. I was in the army. I was working at a pharmacy slash warehouse um during psychosis. I wanted to talk about housing. Like, I couldn't remember where I had went after I got out of the hospital for those 3 days, but I did go to my apartment. I had an apartment. It was a studio apartment. It was like the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I just loved my studio. I loved my bed. I loved the area. Um, of the city that I live in. I just loved everything about it. And I actually had to move out because I couldn't afford to stay there because I got fired because I didn't call in for those 3 days that I was in the mental health portion of the hospital. I believe I touched on that I did get fired from my civilian job. I got a medical discharge out of the army. So I didn't have any income coming in until I got into the case study. But that was just not enough to pay rent, to pay a car note, to pay anything. So I did end up having to move back in with my mom. But before that, I believe I stayed with my dad. And the whole psychosis thing of him wanting to kill me, that I thought that had went away. Um, I didn't think those thoughts anymore. So I was perfectly fine with living with him. The only thing is, I had little siblings. They had a dog that barked loud. um, and it was just always really chaotic in the house, just loud all the time. And when I talked to my doctor about it in the case study, the doctor that ran the case study, he said it's probably not the best for you at this time. You probably need a little more peace and quiet, just a little more stable housing. And then I moved in with my mom. It was just her. Uh, so that's housing. It really bothered me that I had to let go of my studio apartment. Um, and this is just for anyone who can relate. Like, if you had to stop working or lose your job because of psychosis or because of your mental illness, I just want to tell you it's not the end. There there actually are people out there that will help. If you have nothing, there are places that will help. I actually remember going to this place. Um, it was like I don't remember what it was called. But it was like it was for people with mental illnesses, but it was for people who couldn't, um, who weren't stable, like who couldn't get treatment that worked. So it's like they still had dealings with psychosis. And she said, "Ma'am, this isn't for you." And that's when I realized that my case was different. So I just wanted to touch on that really fast. I know I got a little off topic, but like I said, there's people out there who want to help. It's just the simple fact that if you're trying to get the help, you can't just sit back and not ask. You have to ask for help. Um, so that was housing, and then the whole car situation. Every time I think about my new car, I had a 2016 Nissan Altima. It was just the nicest car I ever had, newest car I ever had, and I couldn't afford it anymore, and I had to let that go. I want to be open and just share everything so you all can really, see what it was like for me with psychosis and with my mental illness. I felt like I lost a lot at once. I did get depressed. I was it was just a very dark time. Um I lost the apartment, the car, and the girl that I had at the time, and it's just the simple fact that from there to now, it's like it's really not the end of the world. If anyone watching, I just want to tell you that it's not the end of the world to be diagnosed with schizophrenia, with anything like schizophrenia, with any mental illness. Get treatment, and once once you get to that, I'm stable. I'm a stable schizophrenic. It's like you're unstoppable. Uh, and I really feel that way. I really feel that way. It's like it's hard to put into words how I feel when I'm on my medication, when I'm just doing what I should be doing, going to therapy, going to my doctor's appointments, and it's just it's it's really important that you get treatment, in my opinion. Um, I really touched on what I wanted to touch on today. Um, Next week, I think I'm gonna touch on my the ending of the case study and going into disability and my disability hearing and things of that nature. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.